COVID-19 infection may increase the risk of type 1 diabetes in children and adolescents. Testing positive for SARS-CoV-2, the virus that causes COVID-19, is associated with an increased risk of new onset type 1 diabetes in children and adolescents, according to a new research at this year's European Association for the Study of Diabetes annual meeting. In this nationwide study, Gulsit and colleagues linked individual level data from national health registries for all children and adolescents in Norway. Children were followed from March 1, 2020 until diagnosis of type 1 diabetes. They turned 18 years old, death, or the end of the study, which was March 1, 2022, whichever occurred first. The researchers examined the risk of young people developing new onset type 1 diabetes within or after 30 days after PCR confirmed SARS-CoV-2 infection. They compared this group with children and adolescents in the general population who did not have a registered infection, as well as to a group of children who were tested but found to be negative for the virus. Over the 2-year study period, a total of 4,24,354 children tested positive for SARS-CoV-2 infection, and 990 new onset cases of type 1 diabetes were diagnosed among the 1.2 million children and adolescents included in the study. After adjusting for age, sex, country of origin, geographical area, and socio-economic factors, the analysis found that young people who contracted COVID-19 were around 60% more likely to develop type 1 diabetes 30 days or more after infection compared to those without a registered infection or who tested negative for the virus. Remission from type 2 diabetes possible even in people with lower body weight. Everyone has a personal fat threshold which, if exceeded, will allow type 2 diabetes or T2D to develop even if they are of a lower body weight, as presented at the annual meeting of the European Association for the Study of Diabetes annual meeting. Having a BMI over 301 is a risk factor for T2, and landmark research from Newcastle University previously showed how and why an intensive weight loss program can put T2D into remission in people who are living with obesity or overweight. Not everyone with T2D is overweight. Around 15% of T2D diagnoses are in people with normal weight, and it is generally assumed the condition has a different cause in such cases. The ReTune study looked at whether weight loss can also reverse the condition in people with a BMI at or only just above the normal range. 20 men and women with T2D, average BMI 24.8 kg per square meter, took part in the study. They followed a weight loss program in which they consumed 800 calories a day for 2 weeks, followed by 4 to 6 weeks in which they kept their new weight steady. They completed up to 3 rounds of this diet or weight maintenance cycle until they had lost 10 to 15% of their body weight. Their results at the end of the study were compared to those of a group of controls, 20 people without diabetes who were matched for age, sex, and BMI. 14 of the 20 participants, that is 70%, with type 2 diabetes went into remission, a similar proportion to previous studies involving participants living with type 2 diabetes and overweight and obesity. Weight remained stable between 6 and 12 months. Average BMI fell from 24.8 to 22.4, and total body fat fell from 32.1% to 27.7%. Levels of fat inside the liver and pancreas fell substantially. Fat in the pancreas fell from an average of 5.8% to 4.3%, and the activity of the insulin-producing cells returned towards normal. This is important because these results should help dispel the stigma that can be attached to a diagnosis of type 2 diabetes, the researchers noted. That's all for today. Stay tuned to Medical Dialogues for latest updates.
Never miss a medical update from Medical Dialogues. Like, subscribe, and press the bell icon.